Right.
What's up, folks? Targeting Winners, episode 63. It's time. Week 1 is here. Tim here with Pete and Darren. How you doing, fellas?
Good.
One take Tim. That's what they call me, man.
Doing great. Week number 1's here.
Nailed it. Like Simone Biles. Right here. Intro. We are here at week 1. The long wait is over. Week 0 doesn't really count. We're going to forget week 0 ever happened for obvious reasons.
That was nice.
We're never going to forget that.
Halfway across the world. I had the score right. Let the record show I had the score right. 24-21.
You did. It's true.
Wrong team. Saw that coming.
I mean, credit to you for keeping FSU Homer up there.
Well, if we should get to episode 1063, it's still going to be FSU Homer. So
FSU will take way too many years off your life. None of us are making it.
Yeah.
To this.
Yep, live and die with them. They'll make me die before I want to. So,
but to your credit, you only texted me like 4 times during the first quarter, so I felt like you took a big step forward, in your coping with Florida State football. So well done. I did everything I could
do to affect the outcome of the game. I thought they played better on my bedroom TV, so I went upstairs in the bedroom and watched. That didn't help. Nothing helped. They couldn't block, they couldn't tackle. Other than that, it was a good game.
I mean, to be fair, though, we kind of hit on what was going to happen, and it was nice to actually see us be right in that respect. You still can run on Florida State. DJ, I don't know, man. He just looks like he
made some good throws at the end.
Yeah, those 2 out of his 20 were really impressive on 4th down. But
4th and 7, I think it was 4th and 13, I want to say was the first one. And I was like, oof.
Yeah,
but they got bailed out. I mean, they got a face mask. The guy's hand slipped on a sack and grabbed his face mask in the first quarter. I think there was a pass interference call they were helped out with too. So it could have been a lot worse. So
yeah. On a positive note for what we do here, we were correct, right? We had the under in that game.
We had the under.
That's a good thing.
I'm still trying to figure out the surface they were talking about. It looked like grass to me, so they can't blame that. I don't know. But on a positive note, my future pick, Shedeur Sanders, Heisman, 400 yards plus last night, 4 touchdowns. And they were still throwing the ball. They were up, 10 points with like a minute left. And he's still out there running pass plays. So he's going to try to pad those stats for his boy every day. So that's good. So that future bet's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. We got college football on tonight. Guys, how you feeling? I can't wait. We're, a few hours away?
Excited.
Yeah.
As we record this episode.
Hey, from Michigan Chinese guy, food. I'm excited to see Sparty in the field from a Michigan guy, right? I'm curious to see what they've done with that program already. I like the coach and all of that. We talked about it before. I'm excited to see what they actually put out there in the field tonight. And
I wonder if their quarterback listens to us because he told everybody at a press conference, if you bet, take the over. Maybe he's got a FanDuel account under, Sparty McSpartacus. I don't know what he's doing, but, maybe the dude listens. Who knows? Thanks, Aiden.
We had an email about this game, actually, from Dan.
So he posted right in the group.
He's a Facebook post. Yeah.
He's original. Yeah. He's an OG.
Flyers fan, too. I remember that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well,
I think he's the guy to send us a picture from the Army-Navy game. He was wearing a Flyers hat. So I was like, there we go.
Very cool. Very cool.
He had a question about the over-under, I believe, right? He was asking
about. He wanted to know our thoughts on he was looking at the FAU-Michigan State game tonight. He was thinking about possibly locking in something on the total. Right before we recorded, I checked. DraftKings is offering 44.5. I just answered him quick just because I happened to see it there, and I was just kind of like not touching it. But, you guys, we would like your thoughts as well. So, whichever one he wants to
take the over. So,
if you can't trust your quarterback.
Right.
And this quarterback is supposed to be really special. It's supposed to be one of those Jaden Daniels types, I guess. Everyone is really high on this kid. Childs, his name is. I do have one of my plays this week on tonight. I did take Michigan State. I got minus 13.5. That was on Hard Rock Bet down here in Florida. I don't know what the lines were on DraftKings for you guys. I saw some as high as 14.5. saw 13.5. I was like, well, that's lower. I'll take it. Obviously, I think the defense can shut down FAU. I know, Tom Herman's down there. He's an offensive-minded guy. I think this would be, home game, new coach, new quarterback, new era, new attitude. Expectations are high. I think they're going to want to deliver. I think they can cover that 13.5. I know, Pete, you said you were interested at least. I mean, you don't want to see Michigan State be too good.
Yeah, I mean, clearly. It's tough because, it's new coach, new system. I mean, they had a significant talent deficit last year, so they're bringing new talent in. So, and everything is new. I talked about it in the Big Ten show where the upside in the future is very positive, I think. It's just hard to tell in game one what you're going to see. Yeah, and do I think if he's got everything clicking with that offense that they're going to want to put on a show? Because those fans are so beaten down in Lansing. So, I think if I was going to lean, I'd lean over. I wouldn't touch this game at all. It's just who knows? There's just so many variables in motion here, but I would lean over because I think if they're capable and against this team they should be capable. I think they're going to put up some points, but I don't know if they're going to get to that number, which was what was that number?
44, I believe.
44, yeah, 44.5.
DraftKings said 44.5.
Yeah. I don't know if they're getting to that number, but I certainly expect Michigan State to play way better than they have the last 2 years.
Let's see if I can do it 2 weeks in a row. I got 28-10 Michigan State. As far as this,
I can see that.
So that's a little touchdown on the way out the door, maybe a pick six or something with the defense being improved. But so Dan,
I mean, yeah. The fans in East Lansing would be ecstatic with that. If they can get out of there 28-10, they will be thrilled, and I think it's quite possible.
Yeah, something like that. So, Darren, any final thoughts on that one? Where we want to move on?
No, like I said, I'm a little disgusted that Tom Herman being this offensive-minded coach, like you said, last year at FAU was a disaster. They brought in Cam Fancher, who last year also happened to be a disaster at Marshall. So their defense seems to be pretty legit, and they do have 8 starters coming back. I agree with what you guys are saying. My initial lean what was to FAU, but I was hoping that Cam Fancher would not be named the starter. So since he was, this is an easy avoid for me. But yeah, I mean, if we learned anything from Florida State, and they're an elite program, you bring in so many new pieces, it takes time. So. Yeah. As long as FAU still has that inept offense, I could see you hitting this one and covering it with no problem. But I stayed away from the total, definite stay away. So Dan, hopefully that helped a little bit. And thanks for listening.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Next game, Temple, Oklahoma. I don't think anyone needs a big prediction. Who do we think will win this game? The only question is, can they cover the number? So the number is 43. Oof. I think they can cover it. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but
Temple's not going to help. I mean, so
no.
I think Oklahoma could cover it if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, when EJ Warner left Temple, like who left on the team is even going to potentially help them sustain enough drives to maybe put up 13 or 17 points. I just don't see it. Oklahoma's defense actually was pretty legit last year, and it should be excellent again. If you wanted to really just have something on this game, maybe look at an Oklahoma team total, see what kind of number you can get, 50. just throw a little side money on there and just see what you can get. So at least there might be some interest in watching this. I don't see Temple getting more than 10 here, and that I think is a stretch. Sadly, if I had a lean here, I would bet Oklahoma.
I wouldn't even be shocked if they had close to this, 34 points at halftime, 34-0. I can wouldn't even be a shock at the half. Then it's a wonder of how much the second string and the third string wants to pour it on at the end. What are they going to do?
If you could get plus money on an anytime Oklahoma defensive touchdown, I would give that a look as well.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
these totals early in the year are so hard because you never know when a team's going to take their foot off the gas. Like some teams do, some teams don't. You don't know when they're going to do it. As they're rolling, they're up by 4 touchdowns or something. Do they keep playing? Do they sit back? Like last night, with Shedeur, as you mentioned, right? They probably shouldn't have kept going, but they did. So it's kind of hard to tell with some of these totals.
Yeah, it's the trouble with week one. As much as you get those good games, those primetime games, and you get Georgia against Kansas, Wichita State or something, Southwest Wichita,
Right.
It's like whatever you gets.
So. Yeah, they're going to beat them by a lot, but how much is a lot? Is it 30? Is it 40? Is it 50? Who knows?
Yeah, I think we'll put this as a lean for Oklahoma minus to 43. Western Michigan taking on Wisconsin. Wisconsin giving them a 24. They got a quarterback that supposedly can throw. I don't remember him being that good at Miami. I kind of wish he stayed in Miami. Would have been nice. But they got Van Dyke up there in Wisconsin now. This is early in the career for the new coach. What are you guys looking at here?
Alternative television.
Right. Something else. I'm in the state and I don't want to watch that. So,
So Fickell comes in and promised this big old air raid style offense last year. That did not work. And like you'd said, brought in Tyler Van Dyke, who's I think playing for maybe his 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. He's been incredibly inconsistent. They lose Braylon Allen. This team didn't even average 24 points a game, so I'm not sure laying 24 is the right way to go. But Western Michigan, Pete and I talked about this when we did the MAC show. We kind of like what Western Michigan has here. The defense is not great, which is probably why the spread is as high as it is. It doesn't look like it's improving. But they do have a decent running game. They do have the max leading receiver in terms of receptions. I don't know. I don't know if they can hang around or not. I can see why it's 24, but until I see Wisconsin actually showing any capabilities to put up 34, 38 points a game, I wouldn't lay this. So, this
I might take it. I mean, those 24 is not bad, right? It might be worth taking because I think they lose, but they lose by 20 maybe. I don't know. But I think it's worthy to consider taking those 24. I didn't play it, but now that I think about it a little more that we're having this discussion, it wouldn't be a terrible play. I think there might be something there.
All right, so we're leaning Western Michigan. We got to lean on that one. Out west, Stanford, our favorite fade here. They're hosting TCU, getting 8.5. Take it away, boys. I'm not touching this one at all. I as much as I think TCU could blow them out, who knows with the West Coast games? Not this early.
You never know what a tree's going to do. They're going to get killed. I don't know. I mean, the over under I think is like 59.5 right now in FanDuel. That's a lot of points. I mean, could TCU score that by themselves? Maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, that's like a lean under, but I wouldn't touch that thing.
I have a small, less than 1 unit play on Stanford this evening. I mean, I got 8.5. I know Stanford was trash last year, but there were signs when we were all on our little road trip. We saw Stanford give Washington a scare. Washington could not cover against Stanford. That's where Elik Iomaner, their wide receiver, definitely made a name for himself. He had over 1,000 yards receiving. The entire offensive line comes back, including 10 total on that side of the ball, 8 on defense. Is it going to show up in wins or losses? No, because now they're in a real conference. Their schedule's a lot tougher. But do I think they're going to play a lot better than they did last year? Yes. And then on the other side of the ball, TCU, they're bringing in Josh Hoover, who's only a sophomore. Their leading running back, Imani Bailey, is gone. Their leading receiver, their tight end, Jared Wiley, is gone. The offensive line only returns 1 starter. It might take them a little while, and they're switching their defensive schemes. So I get Stanford's bad, but 8.5 is, I can see them sticking around. I mean, it's a home game. They're going to play better. And like I said, you won't see it in the record just because of the tougher schedule. And silly them, a college actually prioritizing academics. How dare they? So they can't really do anything in the transfer portal. But I think they're going to be better than what people think. And this line opened around 9.5. It's down to 8.5, 8 in some spots. So, money is coming in today on Stanford. So, yeah, I took a shot. We got a little promo. Remember from our bankroll management show, we told you week 1 is huge for promos. I was just telling the guys, I woke up with 3 bets today. I have 7. So thanks to DraftKings and FanDuel for offering boosts. So yeah, so I got Stanford here, less than a unit. But the boost gives me some plus money and I get plus 8.5. So let's go tree.
There we go. Give in to the temptation. That's the whole idea with the boost there. Hook, line, and sinker. Take it right in.
Damn right.
All right. So you want to just do the RPO segment? Want to jump right on into that?
No, let's go through our Saturday bets.
You want to do Saturday?
Yeah, with RPO's last.
I was going to save that for last. Okay, go ahead.
RPO's always last. Pete, go first, man. You haven't given out a bet yet. Tim and I already have. So.
All right. Well, let's go to my favorite program, Michigan, Fresno State. Over-unders at 45.5. A lot of change in the Michigan side, obviously. Lost a lot of major players, a lot of players, period, but major players. Coach, once again, things are changing, evolving there. From that perspective, it's really hard to see them coming out of the gate hard. I think they're going to have some stumbles, some issues, probably some turnovers. I just think it's going to be a matter of kind of growing pains a little bit with younger players, new system. That I don't know if the system's entirely changing, but to some degree at least. So what I see they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. I think it's going to eat up a lot of clock. That 45.5 is a high number for this game. It's not a high number in general, but for this game, it's a high number. I think that it's going to be something probably in the vicinity of 28-10 or something like that. Michigan, that would not surprise me as a total, which is obviously well under that 45.5. So I do like the under here in this game, simply because first game with a lot of new players, they're going to run the ball. And there's just a lot of uncertainty around Michigan at the moment, which I think some of that will play itself out. Some positive, some negative, but they're not really known for scoring a ton of points in their early games, even when they're really good. And they are a team that takes their foot off the gas. Michigan's always been like that. So even if they get up by a certain amount, they're going to stop, right? Because that's what they do. So I really like the under here at 45.5.
I'll just jump in here because one of my bets, and I'm kind of glad to hear you give your breakdown because I was able to get 21.5 with Fresno State. So I did put a 1 unit play on that. Fresno State's offense, Mikey Keene's pretty legit when he's healthy. 8 starters back on that side of the ball. I don't think they're going to be able to run too much on Michigan. I think despite all that turnover, Michigan still has a really damn good defense. But for returning offensive linemen, they might score enough to at least stay within 3 touchdowns. They did add USC transfer Corey Foreman to help with that defensive line. But like you had said about Michigan, what kind of team are we going to see out there? We had mentioned Florida State and all the problems that they had working in a bunch of new players on both sides of the ball. Well, Michigan's looking at the exact same thing and maybe even worse. They lost a ton of people. Just on defense alone, 3 linemen, 3 linebackers, 2 corners, and a safety are gone. Rod Moore, I think, tore an ACL in the spring, so that's another safety guy that's gone. Their quarterback, I'm assuming, Pete, it's going to be Alex Orji. Is that correct?
That's what I would expect at this point. No official confirmation, but I believe that's the case.
Right, and I don't believe he's thrown a single collegiate pass yet.
I think he's thrown 2. I think he threw 2.
2? Okay.
Not many, yeah.
Okay, so it hasn't been many. And then again, you had mentioned some of the off-field stuff, like, my only concern is, are they going to come out and be like, okay, well, we can win without Harbaugh. We don't care about your allegations or what you're saying about us, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to come out and steamroll. Or next week they play Texas. Yeah. How much are they going to show? I would assume they're probably thinking maybe we're not going to win the conference this year, but a nice big win against Texas would certainly help us with a possible at-large playoff bid. Maybe they don't show a lot here. Maybe Pete said they get a lead, they take their foot off the gas, and they just worry about Texas. But either way, some books had 21. I was able to find a 21.5. So I was like, yeah, what the hell? So I've got Fresno State as one of my bets, plus 21.5 over Michigan.
Love that play. I absolutely love that play. This is going to be old school kind of Big Ten Michigan, where 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They're not going to show anything for that game next week. So they just want to win and get the heck out of there. That's all they want to do. So I think it will fall into both of our favors with both of those bets. And I think we'll win on both. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, 17-3. I'm not unhappy. I'm not happy with that at all.
No.
31-10. Yeah, I'll take that too.
Also, speaking of Michigan, you can catch the Connor Stalions documentary on Netflix. I think that just got released, I want to say on Sunday or Monday. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but that's something to check out. So it's pretty interesting, I'm sure. My one play, or my second play, actually, other than Michigan State, actually made it in the rundown for our RPO segment. So this is an obvious run to me. I'm taking Notre Dame against Texas A&M. They're getting 3.5. I put this in a couple days ago, so I think the line is now 3. So I figured the money would be coming out of Notre Dame because it's Notre Dame, and it's kind of like Duke in basketball. Everybody loves them or hates them. So I think they have the better quarterback. As much as I like the Wegman kid for A&M, it comes down to the quarterback. The defensive line on Notre Dame is still there. I think they can handle the run. The offensive line may have some issues. I think it's close. I think that extra half point makes all the difference. So if they don't win the game outright, I think they can definitely stay within 3.5 for sure. Maybe like a 17-14 low scoring affair there. So I've got Notre Dame getting 3.5 at Texas A&M. Your thoughts, Darren? Irish horse.
Hey, just because I have the hat on, I agree. I actually took advantage of another boost, and I have a little less than a 1-unit play on. I went Notre Dame money line. Again, you look at Notre Dame. Yeah, their offensive line is in shambles right now. I think 6 career starts between the 5 of them going into this game. Not good, obviously. Also not good that their quarterback was also the quarterback at Duke for the coach on the other team. Elko came over from Duke. So if anybody knows how to stop Riley Leonard, it's Mike Elko. I do think, though, overall, Notre Dame is still the better team here. I get that Kyle Field's a tough place to play. I get that Texas A&M, and that line actually has been more A&M money's been coming in, but really more money on the under. The totals dropped like 3 points since the opening. I just think Notre Dame is the better team all around. I think they have fewer new parts than what Texas A&M is bringing in, just from coaching staff alone. I took the boost. I got plus 183 here actually with the money line due to the boost. So
nice.
A little less than a 1-unit play here. I've got the Fighting Rocket Ishmaels to go in and pull a little road upset here. And I also think if they win this game, they're probably in the playoff. I know it seems ridiculous to say one game into the season, but this is one of their big ones. The Florida State game looms as well, but I think a win here, road win in that environment. Yeah, I think even 12 weeks from now, the committee's going to look at that and be like, yeah, you're Notre Dame, despite the obvious financial gain. We're going to throw you in there. So, and I don't think a loss kills them either, because you can say, well, going to Texas A&M winning is not easy, but I got the Fighting Rocket Ishmaels, man. Money line plus 183 thanks to the FanDuel boost.
Nice. Well, I did the same boost today as well, Darren, because it popped in front of me. And how could I say no to that? Plus, if you're right now watching the scroll on the bottom of our screen as I'm speaking, that Notre Dame plus 2,800 to win the national championship was me. And thereby, I can't have them losing this game. So they will win this game because I think that will lead very much into them winning the entire thing. So from 2 respects, the boost and that crawl on the bottom of the screen, I am all Notre Dame, and I am quite confident. Yes, it's a tough place to play, but they're a really good team, and I think they absolutely can win there. So I think they're going to win outright. I like the money line bet because I do believe they'll win this game outright. So that's my 2 cents.
And the other thing, you think we talked about how, the coach knows how to stop Riley Leonard. Well, Riley Leonard should also know how to succeed against a Mike Elko defense. So, that offensive line can hold up and just keep Leonard clean.
He practiced against it every day, man. You know, so they should
exactly.
do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that Texas A&M defensive line though is
legit.
Yeah. Good luck,
and
boys. I think you can do it, but good luck. Better you than me. So. All right, next. Where do you want to head next, boys?
I'll throw out another one of mine here. Because people was talking about the scroll across the bottom. As I am also on, I also have a Notre Dame at plus 2,800 to win the national championship. However, you also see I've got Virginia Tech to win the ACC at plus 1,800. And while the recent ACC play, Florida State, SMU, North Carolina State last night, yeah, I'm talking to you guys. I have a 1 unit bet on the Hokies. They are laying 13.5 on the road at Vanderbilt. And yes, I get it's an SEC team. And no, the recent ACC play has not inspired me. But it is still Vanderbilt. They lost a lot. They're bringing in New Mexico State transfer Diego Pavia, who Tim and I, he's one of our favorites. But, you know, granted, he came into Auburn last year and smoked the Tigers, but, you know, he's going to consistently see much better play this year. I don't think he's going to have as good a year, obviously. But this is all about Vatek for me. I mean, their last 4 games of the season last year, they averaged over 40 points a game, including a bowl win over Tulane. Kyron Drones, I mean, that dude's been getting serious love in the Heisman Trophy market. He was like at 150 to 1. Now I think you can get him at like 70. 21 starters returning. The entire coaching staff is back. They're a legit ACC contender. And honestly, with what I saw from Florida State, I'm still kind of down on Clemson. You know, not impressed with NC State last night. Took him forever to put Western Carolina away. I almost thought of throwing another bet in, but Virginia Tech's down to like plus 1,000. So I was like, screw it. I'll just keep my plus 1,800. But I'm hoping that they can roll into Nashville here and come out with a nice, impressive road win. I'm not going to lie. If it was 14, I might have stayed away. Some books are 14, but 13.5 drone strike, baby. Let's go. I know they won't be playing the Metallica song because it's Nashville. They'll probably do some country nonsense, but yeah. Tech could roll here, and I'm hoping they do. I'm super high on the Hokies this year, so that is another one of my bets for tomorrow.
Well, ACC is wide open right now, I would say, certainly. And we're going to find out about Clemson's defense, right? Facing off against Georgia, that defense is really good. So if they can muster some kind of reasonable offense, they could be a formidable team. But I certainly think that defense is something to be concerned about in that conference. So it'll be interesting to see how they show up against Georgia.
Well, that leads us into my pick, another pick in the ACC. So after what we saw in week 0, it's easy to say the sky is falling. FSU is doomed. But I'm here to tell you the sky is falling. FSU is doomed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We hadn't noticed that yet.
Week 1. Who overreacted? Nobody here.
Here we go already. It's week 1.
Already overreacting.
I got to tell you, they got Boston College coming in. This is a team that always seems to play them tough. Boston College is getting 16.5 is when I bet it. Their quarterback, I think, is better than Haynes King, the Castellano kid. And I don't think the problems that I saw in week 0, you can't fix in 7 days. I mean, they stayed in Ireland the day after the game to go sightseeing, I guess. Then they got to fly back, then do all that. That's just not enough time. I know they get the extra day. It's on a Monday night. So great. Everyone gets to watch them in prime time, lose again probably. But this Castellano kid, I think it's his last name. I think he's also a jockey, but he lit us up last year when we had Verse and Fisk and Akeem Dent and Bernardo Green and all those guys. He still had like 390 some odd yards, ran all over the place. I think he's a better athlete than Haynes King. And they made Haynes King look like Michael Vick last week. So, I'm taking Boston College. I'll take the 16.5. Yeah.
It smells like an overreaction pick.
I'm telling you.
This is FSU at home at night. If they can't win this game handily, then the sky is falling. Because they should win this game by 3 touchdowns going away. They really should. If they don't,
they should. They should. And I'm not betting this game, but I would lean toward laying those points because they should be pissed off. They're at home at night. That crowd should be going nuts. If they can't win handily in that environment, then you might as well change your team and be done for the year because there ain't nothing happening. Well, I'm not going to change the team.
That
FSU homer is staying there for the duration.
I'm going to buy you a Miami jersey. You can wear that the rest of the year. Want to make a bet right now? If they lose, you have to wear a Miami jersey in the next one.
That'll never happen.
That's fair.
No,
come on.
I think he should sign up for that. Yeah. Okay. Chicken Little, the sky is not falling. First of all, Castellanos isn't even half the quarterback that Haynes King is. So stop right there. We're not going to get any viewers spewing that nonsense. I'll take Haynes King all day long, and twice on a Thursday and once over in Ireland. Okay. This Castellanos kid, he's got potential, but he's not Haynes King. Okay. So let's stop that right there.
All right. Okay.
This line opened at like 21. I mean, talk about overreaction. Everybody, how much money did you put down? I mean, because nobody wants Florida State in this game. I mean, and once it got under 17, I might join Pete and fire on Florida State. I mean, listen, DJ is not going to lead you guys to a 10-win season. He's just not that kind of guy. But like he said, if you can't smoke Boston College at home after that performance halfway around the world, then yeah, you deserve all the crap that you get. But yeah, Castellanos is not Haynes King in the least. I would expect Florida State to win this one 24 points minimum.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, I hope you're right, but for the sake of my sanity and whatever non-gray hair I have left, yeah, I hope you're right. But I can't unsee.
Hear me now.
I can't unsee what I saw last week. I just can't unsee it. They looked afraid to tackle the guy. I mean, they just looked.
Okay, but just a couple things to keep in mind. Georgia Tech is not a bad offensive team. Okay, they can run. You guys can't stop the run. Their offensive line is good. Their quarterback is a dual threat. Okay, Boston College is not Georgia Tech. All right, so you're going to be okay. Hear me now and believe me later. FSU by 24. Calling it right now. You still have a decent defense.
Again, I hope you're right. It's from what I saw last week. 7 days is not enough time to prepare the calamity that I saw last week. So.
Well, you have 9 or 8. Or, you have 9 days. There you go. Those extra 2 days will be huge. You'll be fine.
All right.
And you are wearing the Miami, Florida jersey when Florida State steamrolls.
Absolutely.
The only thing good about that game this week is one of those teams is going to lose. That's
I'm
for
just wondering. You must have been doing some serious drinking from that day up until now to actually hit us with that Castellanos is better than Haynes King.
He's a better athlete.
Stop it.
Wait. Maybe Nick Castellanos, but not that one. No. I don't know.
Javier Castellano. Next game, let's get off this before I get more depressed. Jump out the window here. Go ahead. What's next?
Hey, you got one more?
I've got 2 more coming. I have one more in the Big Ten. Try to spec because obviously with the first week 1 thing here with a lot of games in the slate. I went to my other favorite team this year, which is Iowa. So Iowa, Illinois State, over under at 40.5, which sounds like Iowa. Illinois State will probably not at all, very little, because they got to play against that godforsaken defense. Iowa has not been able to score any for quite some time now. Are they going to be a little better? Maybe. Still be well under. I do. I mean, I think that's 40.5, which once again sounds like a low number, but with this game and the defense, I think that's it should be lower. So I like the under in this game.
And you broke up a little bit there, P. What was the under in that one?
40.5. Sorry about that. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, I didn't do it on air. There's storms rolling through, but 40.5. And I said, with that defense, Iowa can't score. Illinois State's not going to score. If they score, it's going to be very little. And so I love that number. I think that's to me, it's a no-brainer under, but that's me.
All right. Darren.
All right. I'm going to the West Coast here. Not impressed with what I saw out of New Mexico last week, so I am taking Arizona. I am laying 30.5. 1 unit play here on Arizona. A lot of change there at Arizona. A lot of their team, a lot of their coaching staff took off, but they still have their QB and their top wide receiver, Fafita and McMillan. So I think this is still going to be a good offensive team. This defense only allowed 21 points a game last year in the Pac-12, where defense isn't really a thing. So it's a legit team here. And just a couple things why I like Arizona. And if you're into revenge, this is the game for you. So Arizona lost their running back, Jonah Coleman, who had 871 yards and 5 TDs for them. They picked up in the portal Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who had 1,190 yards and 17 touchdowns. Guess where he came from? That's right, New Mexico. And that defense, the linebacker coach / special teams coordinator is Danny Gonzalez. Guess what he did last year? He got fired as the head coach of New Mexico. So I'm just saying, not that I'm expecting special team shenanigans, but I'm expecting special teams shenanigans because, he's going to be bitter. And then, I talked before how I love looking at box scores, and I get everybody probably watched the New Mexico game because it was like literally the only game on TV at the time. Somebody might just look at that. Wow, they put up 31 points. That's pretty good. Well, first of all, we're talking about an FCS team that they played, a good one in Montana State, but still an FCS team. 2 of their 4 touchdowns were on fumble returns. Usually that doesn't happen every week. They allowed 21 points in the fourth quarter. 14 of those came with less than 5 minutes to go. One of those drives was a 1-play, 93-yard touchdown run. They missed 2 field goals, 42 and 35 yards. Not exactly long distance, but hey, you lose by 4 and you miss 2 field goals. That's a problem. 27 first downs allowed and 567 total yards allowed against an FCS team. What is going to happen when Arizona at home against this New Mexico team? Again, I worry about the calling off the dogs. We've touched on that earlier, but it may not matter here. I've seen nothing from New Mexico to lead me to believe that they're going to even remotely hang here. I know their quarterback, Danfear, is pretty decent, but he only averaged like 6 yards an attempt against Montana State. Passing attempt, not rushing attempt. That's passing average. I just don't see it here. The New Mexico over-under, I think, was 1.5. And the one was supposed to come last week, and it did not happen. This Arizona can name their number here. And I think that number is probably going to start with a 5. I don't know if New Mexico State's getting past 17. So Arizona minus 30.5, 1 unit here. I took that one for late night Saturday.
Hey, man. Any last one before we hit the RPO?
I have one more on my side. Let me just do it real quick. This one's in honor of our buddy Ray, who has been in my ear all day about Ole Miss, right? And he wants to bet that they're going to score 7 touchdowns somewhere. I was like, well, I can't find that line for you, but I'll keep looking, right? So I think, but if he's correct and they score 7 touchdowns, they're still going to be under, because the under over in this game is 60.5. I can't see Furman doing anything. And I think at some point Ole Miss will call off the dogs, and that's a big number. And so I think they could go absolute fireworks crazy and still not hit that 60.5 number. So I really under there as well with that Ole Miss and Furman game. That's my 2 cents.
All right. So Ole Miss and Furman under 60.5. Darren.
Right.
That's it, man. I'm ready for the RPO. I got a couple more once the RPO segment hits, but I'd take advantage.
Well,
that's some pretty colors right there.
Yeah, look at all those colors.
That is beautiful. Look at that.
All right, game 1, Clemson.
Like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yeah, right. They're getting 11.5 against Georgia. For me, it's a pass. Absolute pass.
I bet Georgia. I took 12.5, but I don't really care. Georgia's winning this game by 3 touchdowns. Cade Klubnik, sorry, buddy. You got to show me something. Georgia's on a mission, man. They don't feel like they should have been left out of the playoff, even though they should have been. Suspensions notwithstanding, I still think Georgia's the much better team here. 14-point win. Yeah, I took another advantage of another boost from FanDuel. Less than a 1-unit play on Georgia minus 12.5.
Over-under is at 54 on this. I kicked it back and forth. I decided to pass. I really don't know what to do with it. I think Georgia's going to win by a lot. I don't know what Clemson's going to do on offense. So to me, it's just a punt and move on to the next one.
All right. One of our favorite coaches. He's in action at West Virginia. I mean, I think Penn State will win just because it's not a good team or not a top team that they're playing. So it's any mid-team or lower they can beat. When they played Ohio State's and schools like that, the Michigans and Michigan States, they lose. I think they can handle West Virginia. I don't know about hitting the 7.5, so I passed on this one. What do you guys think?
It'd be fun to watch him fall on his face in week number 1, but probably not going to happen. He'll probably win.
Well, since I ran to the window to bet Georgia, I might as well stay there. Yeah, I bet on West Virginia here.
Oh.
Because I don't trust James Franklin. I don't trust Drew Aller. Playing at Huntington isn't exactly easy either. I don't want to come out and call for an outright upset here, but 7.5 was nice. Took advantage of another FanDuel boost. Yeah. Yep, I bet West Virginia as well. Jeez, I'm a degenerate. What's that, like 7 bets for me today? All right, yeah, West Virginia. I took West Virginia.
While you're cashing that bet, I'm going to be laughing all the way home. That's beautiful.
Next game is a pass for me. I'm going to win and lose either way. Got Miami at Florida. I'll just sit back and enjoy one of these teams' fan bases crying, and the other one just being obnoxious would drive me insane. So I'm passing all together. What do you guys think on this one?
It's early in the season. Miami's good early in the season, right? I think they'll win this game just because, as you said some weeks ago, Tim, right? They look great for like 5 weeks, and then something happens and the tears started flowing. So I think they're going to look really good and they're going to win. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think on paper they really should win here. I'm not super high on Florida. I know a lot of people are. Their schedule is terrible. But at some point during the year, Cristobal is going to have a Cristobal type game. I don't know if this is it right out of the gate. But if that stays 2.5, yeah, I would lean Miami here, but I'm not betting it either.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear my dog also hates Miami.
He's literally telling you dogs are barking, take West Virginia. But at least your dog is listening to me. So.
No, I mean, I'm actually kind of rooting for Florida just because I hate Miami so much. But yeah, I'll be like that meme. We got the two people fighting, and the one guy taping it. I'm the one guy just taping it on my phone, just watching these two beat the crap out of each other. Next game, Colorado State getting 34 against Texas.
Question is why we running on
Texas right here. I might run up to the window and bet on Texas right here with 34. What are you guys thinking?
I'm passing, but 34 is a lot of points against a team that's a really pass-happy offense. I know Nicolosi loves to throw him some picks, but they got one of the best wide receivers in the conference. I mean, if he sneaks in for a TD or two, I could see them sticking around this number. I could also see Texas winning by 55 if they wanted to. So pass for me.
Man, it feels like a trap. Feels like a trap. I'd like to take those 30. That's a lot of juice right there. But so it's enticing, but I think Texas will just put the lumber to them and take care of that problem. So yeah.
All right, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I already ran there on this one. I'm taking Notre Dame. You guys ain't got any final thoughts on that one?
Yeah, so I added that to the thing before we both bet on it. So normally that game would not be there because we already touched on it.
Yeah. We all bet on it because I jumped on the juice too today, so we're all on it.
All right. Next.
UCLA. UCLA is given 14 to Hawaii. I'm leaning heavily Hawaii here just because they've already had a game. They've already played a game. UCLA, everything's all new. At Hawaii. I'm leaning Hawaii, but ultimately I'm going to pass. What do you guys think there, Darren?
Go ahead, Pete, because I got thoughts.
Uh-oh.
I think Hawaii is a hot garbage team. The only reason it's 14 is because it's at home, and anybody who flies there from wherever has got to deal with that nonsense. Otherwise, it'd be much.
Oh, Pete muted himself.
Sorry, no, it muted itself automatically.
And he muted himself again.
He muted himself again. All
Oh,
right.
Dan, what do you think about this game?
All right, I'll go while Pete figures out. Man, between the boat, the track, and where he lives, we got to get Pete out of the underground bunker. All right, I'll just say this. This game opened like 17.5. It was started to go down before the Deshaun Foster press conference at Big Ten Media Day, which certainly didn't do him any favors. And the line actually dropped another 0.5 point after that press conference, which I thought was kind of disturbing. Now, granted, the Hawaii game, I don't think too many people saw it on TV, but they were a 40-plus point favorite against Delaware State, and they were only up 14-7 at the half. I know their leading receiver, Stephen McBride, was suspended and is still, I guess, indefinitely suspended as we record this. As much as I want Hawaii to win this game outright, because I have an under on the UCLA win total at 5.5, they literally showed nothing that led me to believe that they can even stay close here. I'll be rooting for them. But yeah, they showed me nothing where they can even hang around here with UCLA. So want them to win. I don't think they're going to. I don't even know if they'll stay within 14. So I'm passing here.
And now that I switch mics, I agree. Right, I'm technically dying in front of me here. But anyway, Hawaii Sock are a terrible team. I think UCLA will whip them pretty good. I don't think it'll be close.
All right. And our last game at the Roomba, I believe, we got LSU playing USC on Sunday. USC is getting 4. I'm leaning USC a little bit, going against the powerhouse SEC. But I mean, with the receivers that they have, it's still a high flying offense. Riley's there again. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at all if USC won this game outright. So I'm leaning heavily on USC. What do you guys think?
Pass for me. I mean, neither of these teams showed any semblance of a defense at any point last year. I looked at the total. Pete, you could probably give a little more insight on this. I think it was in like the low to mid 60s. But again, this would have been a great game last year when you had Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, but now you've got Nussmeier against Moss. I don't know how good of a grasp either of those two guys has on their respective offenses, or if the other defenses can even stop them. So until I see how these teams actually look on both sides of the ball, this is an easy pass for me.
Should be a fun game. 64 is the number I saw. That's a big number. I mean, it would scream like under, which why I would lean over, simply because it screams under, which means that there's going to be no defense played whatsoever and something idiotic is going to happen. Why I would bet this thing. It's really too hard to tell what's going to happen.
All right. Well, let's just review our bets before we head out. So first, I've got Michigan State minus 13.5, Notre Dame getting half, and Boston College getting 16.5. Darren, what you got?
From your local degenerate, I've got Virginia Tech laying 13.5, Fresno State plus 21.5, Arizona minus 30.5. Tonight, Stanford plus 8.5, Georgia minus 12.5, Notre Dame on the money line, and West Virginia plus 7.5.
Peter.
And finally, from the bunker, I've got Michigan, Fresno under 45.5. I've got Iowa, Illinois State under 40.5. And I have Ole Miss and Furman under 60.5.
All right. Well, that'll do it for week 1, guys. It's finally here. Even though week 0, we're going to forget. Never happened. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, also on Facebook and Twitter at Target Wins. Please like and subscribe. You can also find us on YouTube. You can see all of our lovely picks. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week.